Morning guys. So I've been trying to do a video for a while, but for a couple of reasons it hasn't managed to get up and running, mainly down to myself and putting that off, stepping outside the comfort zone, fear, all that sort of stuff. And I want to give a quick chat on mindset, and specifically in regards to Ironman Barcelona, which is coming up at this weekend. I think it's on the 2nd of October on a Sunday. So first of all, who am I to talk about mindset? Well, I've done 10 years in the military, 5 years of which was with UK Special Forces. I've worked in quite a few different hostile environments and countries where things are slightly challenging on a day-to-day basis. And now I'm a mindset and a resilience coach. And I also have done quite a few Ironman races. My reason for putting this out there is I just saw quite a few comments about people being really nervous and anxious about the race. And this is my bit of trying to give a bit back, trying to help people make the most of their day, so they can enjoy the experience, hopefully learn from it. I'm in my kitchen today because the builders are next door. And then the bloke next door has got his gardener in having his grass cut, so I wanted to do it outside. That's not a telly. It's my kitchen, that's an extractor. So yeah, a tiny bit about me there. Mindset, what is mindset? A lot of people use this word. Mindset basically is just the way that we see the world. It's created by our experiences, by the way that we've been brought up, by our belief systems. When this thing happens, it is ABC. It's a judgment, it's a label that we put on it. So everybody's got a different way of seeing things. And that's just the way it is, okay? So that is what mindset is. Given that, mindset basically governs, or a map of the world, whatever label you want to use, governs the way that we react to certain situations, be them new, be them old, be them testing. It's what tells us this is the behavior, bump, or a thought pattern that I should apply to that. It's a shortcut. It saves us time. We use all that experience, all the things that we've been taught to know what to do or how to think. Yet a lot of those times that mindset is like secondhand, pass me down, fear-based, controlling type of behaviors from other people that were probably done with good intentions, but sometimes we can question those. So the biggest thing about this race then is the nerves. A lot of people fight the nerves, the fear of doing something that is on paper really quite challenging. You've got a long swim followed by an incredibly long bike, and then to top it all off, you've got a marathon at the end of that. And very few times, unless you're an experienced triathlete or Ironman, will you have the evidence to know that you can do that. Even in training sessions, you won't hit those sorts of distances of 3.9k in the swim very often, or if you do, just be once or twice, and you probably won't ever do all that in one shot in terms of the swim, bike, run. So there's no evidence for you to know, or for a lot of people to know, that they can do this or not. So your brain looks for evidence. It can't find any, and we get nervous. We doubt our ability to do those things. So something that first of all talk quickly about is acceptance. So I've mentioned something there. There's things that you can control and things that you can't control. So some of those controllable things might be the preparation, your training, your nutrition, the mobility that you do, strength if you do that before, your rest, your mindset, the way you think about certain things. If you, for example, if you have a really long ride planned, but it's horrendous weather, well, do you scrap the ride, or do you zip up your man suit, or in this case, your waterproof jacket, and get it done anyway? Accept it is for what it is. You can't change anything, but you can change, or you can control your attitude towards it. And in this case, prepare. So a waterproof jacket, just as a real small example. And it goes on to, you can control what you make this race mean. It can be the best day of your life, just be another day in your life, or it can be the worst day. It's up to you to decide, and that's pretty much already predetermined. You know what it will be, barring any massive surprises. Things that you can't control then. So look at fear and emotions, completely normal things to experience. Our fear, like I said, if we've not got the evidence that we can do it, our brain will look at that fear as something of real danger, and we'll try and avoid it. Or we'll make that thing comes to fruition. So if I don't know I can't do this, I'm really scared of this, the chances are we won't do it, or we'll avoid it, or we'll attempt it half-heartedly to get the failure that we've told ourselves we're going to get. So it's quite important the way that you speak to yourself in these last few days leading up to the race. That said, there is a message there in our fear. At the moment, I'm feeling slightly nervous about this because I've never talked openly about specific strategies, for example, and emotions that lead on to something specific. In this case, for an Ironman race, the way that I've dealt with that is just by accepting it. There's nothing I can do to change that. I'm a human, I breathe, I have feelings, I'm alive. That's pretty much the checklist. So if you try and fight your fear, all you're doing is putting off a message that might be in there for you. So again, let's take an example. Yeah, so the swim starts. Last time I did Ironman Barcelona in 2019, it was wave starts, which worked really well, rather than the mass starts where you've got a couple of hundred people going into the water at a time. But anyway, it still can get quite choppy out there with all those elbows and heels and feet flying around. So you can either fight that, I'm really nervous and really scared, or you can take a few practical steps to just accept it is what it is. It's the start of the race. Maybe you can slightly hang back and start after the majority of people have gone. You can take your time getting into the water. You can swim with your head up. For example, there's loads of little things. All I'm saying is that when there's a fear, there's also a message. So try and look at what that fear or that nerve or that feeling is bringing up for you, and potentially the message behind it. Some other things that you can't control, other emotions. Like I said, all these things come up for us because we're human and we're alive. You can't dominate these things, but you can prepare for them. And one of those, the biggest things, is acceptance, especially in terms of fear. The weather, again, you can't control the weather. It might be a glorious sun shining outside like it is today, or it might be howling rain and wind. Nothing you can do. That said, you can anticipate if there's going to be bad weather, and bring a rain jacket, bring gloves, bring a change of kit. Potentially, I had ready to go one year some newspaper down for the front of my chest for the start of the race. So in those things that you can't control, there is things that you can do to limit them. Other riders, the time that you finish, and what other people think of you, all things that we can't control. So pre-race nerves and the build up to the event is probably the biggest one. Like I've already alluded to, it's a new thing for a lot of people, or there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of hard work gone into it. And we make that mean something about ourselves, or at least I did. For years, it was my way of showing the world, look, this is who I am. What do you think? Most of the times people don't give you any feedback. Nobody really cares as much as you do, or your Ironman mate, and they chin it off. So it's to come back inside yourself and apply yourself. In this case, given that 99.9% of the preparation is all done, in that last few bits of meticulously making sure your bike is working, you've got your nutrition plan to go, you've walked the transition area, for example, you're doing the things that you can do as well as you can. As I already mentioned, I said again, it's normal emotions. It's a signal of danger, of fear, and that keeps us safe. In reality, it's a swim, a very long bike, and a run. It's not dangerous. Even in the swim, there's lots of other people there. Hopefully you can float on your back if you do ever get into something, and there's lots of safety boats and canoers or paddleboarders around to help. So even there, the risk is brought down a lot. That said, our brain doesn't know the difference between a real risk and a perceived risk, a real danger, life or death, or just something that we're a bit nervous about because we've never done it before. It's there to keep us safe. Don't fight those nerves. They're just there to try and help you, okay? It's preparing you for something that you've been preparing for a long time. One of the first things that my coach gets me to do is to breathe into it, to notice that in my body. Where am I feeling that feeling? And rather than go into my head and start thinking and going through scenarios, it's just to sit with that emotion in our body and then slowly breathe into it, relaxing our body, relaxing that feeling, and just breathe into it, making sure you're breathing through your nose, in through your nose and out through your nose. Obviously this is in the build-up when you're thinking about the race, when we're sat in the hotel, when we're just about to start, etc. That's the time to do these things. It's take a breath. Okay, like I said, all those little things really is a message for us. Don't fight them, don't push them away. And a couple of tools, yeah, I've already mentioned those. I've jumped way ahead of myself in this little presentation here, but the breathing, already mentioned. I'm talking pre-race, not during the race. The preparation, again, alluded to that in terms of your kit equipment, what you decide this race means to you and the result. Another thing that I used to like to do is the transitions. I used to walk them a couple of times and know exactly where my bike is, know exactly where my bag is, see what's around them in terms, especially where your bike is, like is it the fourth post along before my numbers, because once race day comes along, there's lots of other stimulations around and it's easy to be distracted. And visualization. So once you go back to your room again at night, see yourself there on the start line, feel those nerves, breathe into them, let them come, let them go, see if there's anything in those to help you. Do you need to be right at the start if it's a mass wave start, or can you just sit off to the side in the back, for example? Yeah, see all the process, work out some things that might go wrong. Punctures on the bike. Have you got the kit that you need to change your tire? Do you know how to change your tire? There's all little messages there of things that we can do. That's all our emotions are. And I went on to a couple of Ironman groups to look at a couple of comments that people have been making about the race and about them feeling so unprepared. I'm so slow and I'm too overweight to do this race. I've never done a long enough ride to get me through this Ironman. This guy might pull it off on Sunday. He might not. He will know. It's already done. That said, he could either concentrate on what he hasn't done or what he can do. And again, at the end of the day, if he doesn't manage to make the cutoff, then what does he make it mean? Is it the worst day of his life, or is it a lesson for next time to prepare better, to prepare longer, etc., etc.? Okay. Another one I've got was, nervous about the cycle because there's 5,000 cyclists on the loop at the same time. Does it loosen out? It sounds so dangerous. Barcelona has got a bit of a reputation for drafters' paradise, unfortunately, but obviously it spreads out. Yet if we're constantly looking for danger rather than concentrating on ourselves and trying to anticipate what that guy's going to do or that girl's going to do, the chances are we're not exactly doing that, concentrating on ourselves. The breaking point for the roundabout. Are we too close to that person in front? Is it time to take on some nutrition or some liquids? Those sorts of things. So it's our mindset. If we're looking for dangers, if our mindset is always negative and on high alert, it's not going to serve us when we need it. And the weather, looks like a bit of positive news, guys. Very light winds on race day, nice calm sea. Very different from last year. Again, that was posted a good way out before the race, and it's still not happened. Things can change. Weatherman can get it wrong. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. My final sort of thing of wrapping this up would be to say, accept the position that you're in. Understand and breathe into the emotions that you've got. Decide ahead of time what this means to you. Prepare as best you can with the time you've got and enjoy the day. Guys, I hope that's been useful for a couple of people. If you've got any comments or got any questions, please hit me up and I'll do my best to get back to them and answer them. And just finally to say that I will be in Calais on Saturday for most of the day. If there's anybody there that wants to have a chat, if I can help you with a couple of mindset tips or just to help you get into the right frame of mind before the race, then please, get in touch. I'll be happy to help. Otherwise, have a good race and see you on the other side.